New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio under fire after a letter surfaces from the U.S. Customs and Border Protection alleging that the mayor and his security detail illegally crossed the U.S. border back and forth on his recent trip to the southern border. John Shumo has all the details. John, what's happening?
Careful where you're walking. Maybe that's the message here, Bill. Mayor de Blasio, his NYPD security detail, and several other mayors allegedly crossed the U.S.-Mexico border illegally last month. You may remember the group was in Texas to protest the Trump administration's zero-tolerance policy that separated migrant children from their parents. Well, the Associated Press obtained a letter from the U.S. Customs and Border Protection Agency that claims the group violated U.S. and Mexican border laws, immigration laws, by crossing on foot in an area that's not designated to do so. According to this letter, Mayor de Blasio's group also ignored a command by a Border Patrol agent to stay put while the issue was being sorted out. At a news conference Wednesday in Brooklyn about a new community center coming to the Marcy houses, Mayor de Blasio didn't take questions on this story, but he made a statement. He said he wasn't having any of it.
We wanted to get a different view of this tent city. The border agents consulted with their supervisor and they agreed, and they let our cars cross the American border into Mexico at a normal checkpoint. It is another attempt to distract from an inhumane policy. You can tell when our federal government is doing something that's hurting people, they don't want that to be the focus of attention.
We weren't there, don't know for sure, but it certainly is a story that's getting a lot of attention. Bill?
More to come, I'm sure. All right, thank you, John.
Yep.
Okay, let's bring in our A-plus panel for tonight's show. We're joined by Republican strategist Allison Young. Allison, good to see you.
Thanks, Bill. Good to see you.
Democratic councilman from Linden, New Jersey, Peter Brown, back with us. Good to see you, Peter. Bill. Allison, I'm going to start with you. Interesting that the mayor, who was on a clear politically motivated trip, would accuse the other side of political motivation. But what's interesting is it's not a politician making this accusation. It's a member of law enforcement in a letter to another member of law enforcement.
When you're at the border, you pay attention to the Border Patrol. NYPD does not have authority over the Border Patrol in a detention facility like that. And so at the end of the day, de Blasio is just making a mistake. It's a protocol mistake. It's a gaffe. The standard has to be higher for him.
Peter, what do you think? I mean, is this a clear indication the mayor is just involving himself in national politics, wants to run for president, and he's doing it on the backs of the taxpayers? This is not, it's not like he paid for this trip.
You're absolutely 100% right, Bill. I mean, he's the mayor of New York City, not the mayor of any other town but New York City. And to hear about these trips that he's going outside the scope of New York City makes no sense at all. There's people in New York City that need his help. That's his job, and that's what he was elected to do.
Politically speaking, does this hurt or help the mayor? Is he putting the cops in a bad spot?
So is he putting those NYPD officers at risk because he had them cross the border illegally? That puts him in hot water. But let's be honest, when we talk about anything with immigration right now, this is playing to his base. He's defying the president. He's doing what he wants to do. That's not going to hurt him.
Last point.
Do your job. Run New York City. And after you're done, then worry about national politics.
Look, rapes are up over 30%, murders up almost 7%. Maybe he's seeking asylum. You never know. All right. Thank you, guys.